Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for what will be one of the biggest matches of the morning session in the Birmingham Sevens. It is Scotland taking on South Africa. Currently, the points differential between these two sides is only 2 points difference. They are both sitting on 6, both undefeated. Someone is going to be having a defeat. The other side will be able to make their way through undefeated into the quarterfinals. Now, there are big implications for this game. The winner of this match, they will be facing Canada. The loser of this match, they will be facing off against Fiji. So it is fair to say both sides would prefer Canada in the later stages of the draw. But in the Scottish starting lineup, James Murphy, Zane Davids, JC Pretorius, Ronald Brown, Selvin Davids, Seveve Soyuz-Wapi, and Muller du Plessis. Then for Scotland, it is Jordan Edmonds. Now, we haven't really seen too much of him throughout this competition, but he is certainly an absolute tank when he's running for Kalen Barreto, Paddy Kelly, Jamie Farndale, the captain of Scotland, Robbie Ferguson, Lee Jones, and Ross McCann in the starting lineup. We have got Alter in the chat. I've been looking forward to this, says David the Mod. Yeah, I said it before the start of the day. This has the potential of being game of the day, even with the quarterfinals and everything coming up. And hi, says Samuel, and hello, bro, says the Ninja Dude. But Selvin Davids, he will be kicking off this one. Hello, Alter. Hope all is well on your side. Said Nathan there as well. But Selvin Davids takes a deep breath. I'm going to need you to do that quite a few times throughout this match. I would think it's a low, long kick from South Africa. And Jordan Edmonds, he's got it in his hands. What can he do? Straight away, just tries to bump off using that physicality. But Muller du Plessis does manage to drag him down in a good bit of contact. Farndale now. In fact, it was Robbie Ferguson. Let's go, Bok, says Nathan in there. Ross McCann staying on his feet. Ronald Brown does have to release. Scotland only 10 metres out from their line currently. Now using that back line once again, it will be Barreto. One more pass on the outside. Jordan Edmonds using his size. It's a penalty to Scotland for the player not rolling away. And more than likely, Scotland will consider kicking this one down towards the touchline. There's no point risking it this close to your line. Hello, good on you. See, there's Alter there as well. But James Murphy penalised for that one. Scotland now inside of their own 22 will get the chance to clear their lines. And the South African discipline is something we will be keeping a close eye on throughout this contest. Alongside that, it will also be those handling errors of Scotland. We did see a few of them in their first couple matches, but saying that, they've been a beast ever since. Now, nice offload. Ferguson gives it off to the number 11, which in this one is Lee Jones. Now, Barreto looks short side. Jordan Edmonds going straight over the top of Soyuz-Wapi, but he's been able to tie him up around the ankles, which is exactly how you have to take him down. Where's your mum? She came in last Friday. But where is she? She was actually on the live stream a little bit earlier on today for half a second when she was reading out the results. But since it's 11:25 p.m. here in New Zealand, she is currently sleeping as we do sit. And also, I gave the mod. I gave you two. I give you about Sam and there as well. Now, Barreto once again passes back across. 1 minute 30 gone in the first half. Our scoreboard is yet to realise this game has started, but luckily there have been no points on the board. Now Jamie Farndale, the skipper for Scotland, back across. Ferguson sold the dummy, almost made his way through. Nice work there. Penalty to South Africa this time, and they have been able to take a penalty back in their favour for this contest. 5 minutes still left of the first half, and Robbie Ferguson, the man who was penalised for not releasing. So a bit of a stalemate early on, and this time South Africa, other side who do kick it for touch. So rather than taking the quick tap, giving themselves a little bit more time to just have a bit of a deep breath and work out how they are going to try and take down this Scottish side. Now, we did see a close game between Kenya and Australia. Don't think this game will be too much different. There will be little moments for both of these sides who do very nicely. Ronald Brown. Step into the middle now and about to throw it in. That's good. I'm good. Eating hot chips. Thank you, says Nathan there. Jeez, that sounds all right. I wouldn't mind some hot chips. But now Ronald Brown after Selvin Davids. Pop pass up. It's actually stuck behind Selvin Davids, who actually ended up with the ball almost in a chicken wing behind him. And it counts as a knock on. Robbie Ferguson doing brilliantly in defence there. And now the Scottish scrum will be just out from the 22-metre line. Now, Scotland's previous fixtures, they were able to get themselves 50 points to the 12 of Malaysia. Tonga, they won 41-0. It was sensational what they were doing up against the Tongans. And this game, they will want to be able to do the same against South Africa. But South Africa, they've won gold medals in the past. George is king of your stream. But why did he leave? He's always funny. We weren't hurting his feelings. We were just doing a joke. No, it was mainly because he has got to get up early tomorrow morning. So that is pretty much why he did end up going home at about 9:30. Selvin Davids tried to get the turnover, unable to do so. Come on, Scotland, says Steve Smith as well. Can the Scottish homeboys, I was going to say, get the job done? Ferguson tries to bump off Sawyer's Whappi. Still 35 metres out. Come on, Scotland, says Mickey Mouse. And Chips is Kiwi is. And did you see Parramatta thrash Penrith 34 points to 10 in the NRL? I didn't. I saw that Cleary was out as well for that one. Nice attack and run. Mullet Duplessis has to work hard to get him down, but Zane Davids now gets the turnover, takes the quick tap. Scotland will have to make sure that they don't allow themselves to be counter-attacked here. Selvin Davids, ball on the outside. One more. Selvin Davids going. He's got the try down. And Selvin Davids, he almost lost his pants in the process, but Selvin Davids scores the opening try. And 5-week ban for Cleary, says Heath there. And question for you, Hamish, says Brandon Fireaway and True Heath. And also we have got that South Africa, I don't know. Says Sam, it's nicely done, but Selvin Davids, he's certainly an impact player for the South Africans. And he has been able to get that first try of the match. Like I mentioned, it's mainly been in the Scottish half. And try, says Steve there. I watched the game up the Eels. Says Heath there. And the South African flag. Looking very happy with that one. Ronald Brown, it has gone wide out to the right-hand side. So it will remain as 5-0, and they will get themselves a nice opportunity to kick off once again here, South Africa. Okay, time off. They're just waiting for the Water Boys to get off their W as well, says Barry Green. And Chili Chips, and there says Ultra. They sound all right as well, to be honest. And also Barry Green has said, hey, welcome in, mate. I feel like with all the chips talk, I'm certainly going to have some sort of chips/potatoes for my food after the Fijian game. Selvin Davids kicks it off now short. Just going the 10. Sawyer's Whappi controls it quite well. Oh, he's knocked out. Sawyer's Whappi is unconscious. And for player safety, I think 2 South African players might have just got themselves knocked out on each other. Sawyer's Whappi, he was going to be ripped to his side. I think that could be Sawyer's Whappi's competition over, depending on how this goes. But that was a massive collision. Neil Powell's not too happy. Jeez. Now, they lost in Louisville last night. Who do you think will be the winner of the Commonwealth Games, says Barry Green? I think for me, there are 4 sides currently that have got my attention. New Zealand, Fiji, Samoa. New Zealand, 5 teams. New Zealand, Fiji, Samoa, Scotland, and South Africa. I think one of these 2 sides could go far. And you'll be spoiled for games this Commonwealth, Hamish, says Steve. We certainly are. Like, that's the thing. We have got these ones, but then also there's the women's cricket going on that I did want to watch. South Africa are actually playing New Zealand currently, as we do sit. New Zealand, at the moment, they did get themselves 167 for 2 off their 20 overs, but Sivive Sawyer's Whappi, his day is over. Unfortunately, I don't believe he will be coming back out, but the way that he kind of flopped down his arms, as soon as you see those arms go limp, you know that there is something quite wrong with him. So hopefully he is all right. Luckily, he has been able to walk off the field himself, unlike Ndlovu, who did end up getting himself taken off the field on a stretcher last night for the last round. But it will be a scrum feed for Ronald Brown. I think it was Jamie Farndale who well and truly committed to the breakdown. Good bit of a push there from Scotland trying to counter in the scrum. It's going to be a penalty now in favour of South Africa. Ronald Brown takes a quick tap. He wasn't on the mark. So we'll have to go back. Still 1 minute 20 left. But the score currently in this game is 5-0 for South Africa. As little as the game wants to admit it. Thank you to the mods. Great job deleting the trolls at too many games. Coincing what to watch in there. Did I say that right? Coinciding. It's coinciding, not coincing. Selvin Davids, who's dropped that one. I'm embarrassed big time. Oh, it's close. And South Africa have scored themselves another one. Coinciding. That's a word I'll never forget how to spell, isn't it? Coincing. But that is the second try for South Africa. They now find themselves 10-0 up, and it was JC Pretorius who was able to go in and get himself that try. It was an awkward bouncing one. Also face palms to Steve. Yeah. Wasn't my best moment, I guess you could say. And also we go there higher Brandon, says Sebastian. And there as well. But nice try for JC Pretorius. That kick will not be successful with 10 seconds left of the half. Once again, it will be South Africa kicking off to the Scots. Selvin Davids now. About to kick this one off. Just heard the halftime hooter going off at the ground, and it has been a brilliant atmosphere throughout this one. And also, good on you, Hamish, says Mickey Mouse and random. You can change the name in future. I might want to change IP address in there as well, says Nathan. In that one. Wait, you can change the name in future. I want to change IP address, says Nathan. For the one, I have done that before in the past when I have had little things that I've had to switch. I just end up changing a little bit of it. So I could change it to like the Blitzboks maybe. And what is the next live stream? It is going to be at 12 a.m. and it is between Fiji and Canada. Should be a decent game. That's a lie. It's Fiji versus Wales as they're changing the names. But says Nathan there, and also, hey, Sebastian, I'm very busy. The game of the Bunnings NPC Sevens. Sad, and I am sitting in England. Thanks for the commentary, says Josh Spike. No worries at all, mate. Hope you are enjoying the lovely weather that you got up north, and Barry Green 10-0. And there, yeah, the scoreboard's very slow for this live stream, that is for sure. But it is going to be hopefully updating at halftime to 10-0. But a good start to the match for the Blitzboks. Scotland, they've been inside of their half pretty much for the whole of that first 7 minutes. If they can get into the South African half, I think the second half could be completely different to what we saw in the first. But Neil Powell trying to fire up his Blitzboks side. And now having a good old chat with the boys. Making sure they know exactly what is expected of them. Without their captain, Soyuz Wapi, out there, though, I think that will be one of the big concerns at South Africa. Currently, they've lost Ndlovu and also Soyuz Wapi, so they've only actually got a squad now of 11 heading into those final games, which means they won't have the full amount of subs that they could have had for either of the semi-final, quarter-final, or final games. Thanks, Steve. Your scoreboard confusing a bit. Wasn't sure what it was about or what it was, says Barry. And can you say 2 meters next time you want come close? And there's also says Brandon, I can say 2 meters rather than 5 if that is what you prefer, Brandon. But it is now going to be Scotland at the top of the table as we currently sit. But with the win here for South Africa, they would leapfrog right up, and Tonga will be in third, so they will just be missing out. Okay, I see it corrected now. See, here's Barry Green as well there, but Jamie Farndale will be Scotland kicking off. And Ferguson will get us underway. He does the little indication. I think he's going for the fourth one of the options. Don't know what that means. But it's kicked off high. Just going the 10 metres. Nicely done. Scotland slap it back, and they retain the ball. Similar to what we saw for South Africa. Now nice run forward from the man who kicked it, Ferguson, and go, Bok, go. Says Alter backline movement starting to open up for the Scottish here. Jordan Edmonds close to the touchline, but he's dragged down by James Murphy, a man who can match size with Jordan Edmonds. Edmonds a little bit slow getting up. Maybe that is why they haven't given him as much time throughout this competition, as there might be some sort of injury lurking. No worries, never trust the scoreboard, mate. Says Steve Smith. Very, very true. We had a game that it said 0-all, even though it was about 19-0 at halftime. Now it says it's halftime, but we are just into the second half. Good work from South Africa once again, able to win that turnover breakdown. Unfortunately, the ball not quite coming out quick enough for Ross McCann, and South Africa will be slowing down. If anyone's wondering what that big bang was, it was my chimney. Luckily, it hasn't fallen down. I think we got to tell Santi he's about 5 months early. Although, it's getting closer, isn't it? And I was like, I'm close to come, moderate, same soon. And bro, T, and yes, Steve Lowell. And bro, which team was better, India or Pakistan? Which team was better, India or Pakistan? Are we talking rugby-wise or cricket-wise, the Ninja do? Because I know that India were 85th ranked. So I'm not too sure whereabouts Pakistan fall in the world rugby ranking. It's nicely taken by Murphy. Now off to Davids. Another Davids goes to Ronald Brown. Running it hard. Tries to go for the grubber behind Angelo Davids. It sits up for him. Brilliant work for South Africa. And it will be a third. And Angelo Davids does manage to get it down. Brilliant work from South Africa. They now move to 15-0 ahead. And they are looking fired up for this one. Cricket-wise, just depends on the format, I think, as well, for how you would pick it. And great try, too easy for the box, says Hanley now. Although, that's the thing, these games are big, of course, but the upcoming game, it is going to be up against Canada. They need to make sure that they win that game, or else the dreams of a gold medal will be over. And why am I more popular with rugby sevens? Says Brandon there. I would assume some people do prefer the shorter format. Oh, and it doesn't feel right watching a rugby match. It's only 20 minutes long, says Steve. Yeah, it's very weird, which I think is why we end up doing about 7 of them in a row, just because it's the only thing that feels like kind of normal. Like these live streams, or the days that the sevens are on, literally, they're gone. Like we're already 11:30. I woke up at like 5, And we're already, a little grubber from Selvin Davids. South Africa showing off all the little skills that they've got at the moment. Makata now goes off to Selvin Davids. Another grubber in behind. There's another South African player down low. It sits up. Angelo Davids gets another grubber in behind try. And Morning says, Jack, welcome in, mate. But I'm more concerned not for that try, but more for the player who stayed down in back play. South Africa may be playing with 10 men heading into their quarter and semi-finals. It's nicely done by Selvin Davids. They're spotting gaps in behind the Scottish defence, and the ball is just bouncing up. Angelo Davids got some sort of magnet in his wrists that just makes the ball want to go to him. And All Black Sevens versus England, I got 4,000 people, says Brandon in there. And also Morning says Jack. And yeah, as well. And yeah, I hope you are doing well, mate. 22 says Alta. Yep, they have just got themselves a few more points. The time is off. I think that is due to the injury now. Box playing against children, says Harleen Hill. And although Scotland, that's the thing, they won 47 points to 0 over the Tongans, which is actually more than we saw for South Africa playing up against Tonga. It was only about 19 points to 5 at halftime, I believe, for that contest. So that's the thing. Maybe it's not the best game for Scotland, but we cannot guarantee the gold medal for South Africa just yet, because there are some big sides still to come for them. They'll certainly love winning this game, though, because it does mean that rather than facing Fiji, they will get to face off against the Canadians. Selvin Davids. Hang on. Did they say Sawyers Wapi might be out there, or Ndlovu actually might be out there on the field now? Currently 40 metres out from their own line here. Scotland looking for their first try of the match, and it's great. The games are on. As this 2 weeks feels like no test, gives an empty feeling. Says Hanoi, exactly right. So we've got the Commonwealth Games pretty much with you guys all the way through to the Rugby Championship start. And then we have got the Bunnings NBC starting. Disappointing so far, says Steve. Yeah, not quite the performance that we were expecting, but this one could be the try here for South Africa, or sorry, for Scotland. Trying to step nicely, flicks it down. Unfortunately, a mistake from Ferguson. It was a decent run initially from the replacement Harvey Elms, but it's been put down once again. Maybe South Africa, or Scotland, sorry, are just saving it for that quarterfinal match up against the Fijians. And could you be aiming to give your best shook? Do you like Rugby Union or Rugby 7 or Rugby League? So in order of my favourites, I'd probably go Rugby Union, Rugby Sevens, Rugby League. But then Sevens is always just so awesome to watch because you never know what's going to happen. And sometimes it's the fact that it's shorter that builds more suspense, if that makes sense. Because if you're sitting tied at the end of a game and it goes for like 2 or 3 extra minutes, you just get that heart rate flowing for it as well. But currently 3 minutes left in this game. Wald Un made his way out onto the park as well. And the time is now back on. Watching Sharks versus Rabbitohs this morning. Never watched the sport. Before was a good game. Says Jack, yeah, it was 14 all at one point, wasn't it? In that game. I didn't actually see who managed to take out that game in the end. I'm going to see if it does show me on my app or whether I don't get quite that early. No, I don't. Don't quite get to see the result of that one at this stage. So who ended up winning it? Was it the Rabbitohs or the Sharks? In the end, Jack, that's going to be a penalty now to South Africa. Both teams starting with S, so you can make the hissing noise like you are a snake and then just change it depending on who gets it. Kicked into touch by Selvin Davids, another S name. And in fact, there are quite a few S's in the South African side. Selvin Davids, Siviwe Sawyers Wapi, Saoyesa Makata, Sean Williams, all starting with S. And who's the quarterfinals, Hamish, please, says King T. So this will be one of the last games that help decide who will be able to get themselves through. But the first quarterfinal will be New Zealand versus Australia that we know of. And then also alongside that, it will be Samoa versus Kenya. That is one side of the draw. The winner of this game faces up against Canada. The winner of the loser of this game will face up against the Flying Fijians. Ullman goes for the kick in behind it. It's beautiful. Davids takes his third catch from a grubber or a kick, and he's got the hat trick from all kicks in behind. That is absolutely sensational for Angelo Davids, a 23-year-old. He will be thinking this is just a little bit too easy being out on the wing, receiving all these pinpoint accurate kicks. That was a cross kick of dreams. Got onto it, and they score again. Quiz for you, Hamish. What is your favourite rugby book? Says Brandon. Oh, favourite rugby book. I know that we've got a Richie McCaw book, a Jeff Wilson book, a Dan Carter book. I do enjoy a rugby colouring book, though, to be honest. I feel like that would be a lot of fun. Just because you get to colour in the players and you can make them their own colour. Like, you can go, like, maybe put Makazole Mapimpi in the All Blacks. Put Dwayne Vermeulen in the Wallabies. You know, you can just change the kits a little bit. Who will win the Sevens gold? For me, there's 5 teams in the running currently. South Africa, Fiji, Samoa, New Zealand, and Scotland. Now, I know that Scotland in this game haven't exactly delivered the way that we thought they would, but it is going to be, I think they'll fire back in their next game, although they have got the Fijians in it as well. It's a good tackle made. South Africa now hanging on to this one just out from the 22. Sullivan Davids, one more pass, and it will be in the corner. Sean Williams this time does get himself another one. Cheer, my bro. Says King and tough Scotland. I would have at least scored a try. Says only now there. Yeah, South Africa playing this game pretty much all completely in Scotland's half. I think we've seen one attacking play from Scotland throughout this game. Every other time South Africa, they've been able to either retain their kickoff or get themselves a lethal turnover and turn it around. And I should mention, South Africa and Scotland both go through to the quarterfinals. It is just deciding who will be playing who, but nice pass on the outside to Sean Williams, who runs it in. And now, I believe that was the full-time siren. Yes, it was. So that is going to be the end of the matchup and the end score in this game. Even though our scoreboard is very far behind, it is 34-0 in favour of South Africa over Scotland. Jordan Edmonds didn't really have too much of a say in that game, surprisingly, but like I mentioned, they are still through to the quarterfinal. Samoa Sevens versus Fiji Sevens, or playoff is All Black Sevens versus Springboks Sevens, says Brandon. So yeah, there could be some massive games coming up in the future, that is for sure, but we did see quite a few tries scored by South Africa throughout this game. JC Pretorius got one, then alongside that, Sullivan Davids, Angelo Davids got the 3 tries on the hat trick, and then Sean Williams managed to get himself the one as well. So South Africa take out the top of the group. Steve has once again done Steve Smith things. Thank you very much, Steve. Once again, cheers to the stream. Keep the good content coming, brother. It is certainly coming, mate. Quarterfinals later on tonight. And yeah, it's going to be a big match for Scotland and South Africa. Scotland versus Fiji should be a cracker. And I will find out exactly what time that game has taken place for you guys, so you know exactly what it does sit at for that one as well. But the women's sevens, it is actually coming first in about 4 hours' time. I think the Scots will be beaten by Fiji, and says 1, 2, 3. You missed it too easy. Bring on the gold, says Hanley now. So the quarterfinals, it is going to be, I believe, either 7:26 a.m. or 7:48 a.m. that the Scottish and South Africans are both going to be in action. I'll send you my early Christmas shopping list, says Nathan. Yeah, that's going to be certainly helping out big time. I always get the giggles. I think you know that, Steve, as well. On the stage, my face goes red. I get the giggles, and the words get taken straight out of my mouth, which is hard to do because I talk so much. But the end score in this game, 34 points to 0. Canada are currently playing Zambia. So what we will be doing during this time, we will be putting some wedges in the air fryer. Hoorah! We're going to enjoy them big time. And then as the finals tomorrow, says 1 to 3 MS. So it's tomorrow morning for ourselves here in New Zealand. But the quarterfinals, the first one for the men's, is taking place at 7:26 a.m. So in 7 hours, 40 minutes from now. So it will be a late night in South Africa start. And also, I want a blonde girl for Christmas, says Nathan. And there as well, I guess that's a pretty good list to have, isn't it? Robert, New Zealand actually played Kenya. My apologies. I got that round the wrong way. I thought that it would be New Zealand taking on Australia, but it is actually New Zealand-Kenya. Is it? Is that right? Yeah, it is. Australia actually finished top of the group, so Kenya are playing New Zealand and Australia playing Samoa. Yet again, we've seen that matchup many times in the past, and it will be no different for the upcoming semi-finals as well. Quarterfinals. And then also, I should confirm that the women's sevens is coming up for their quarterfinal matches. I'm just going to quickly get you the exact times that they are taking place before we do end up ending this live stream. So the women's semi-finals looks like it is a 6:30 a.m. start for the women's. One moment. It is loading. A little bit of suspense building at the end. England plays South Africa in the women's sevens, though. And Steve, your legend says, not your everyday cultist. He is indeed very generous individual, I should say. And be sure to get yourself some wedges, Steve, in the future as well. I think you have definitely earned it. One, you've been working hard, playing harder, and now Scotland through to the quarterfinals. And they do actually play Sri Lanka in the women's, but that has taken place at 4:52 a.m. So our next game, more than likely, that we will be covering on the channel, it will be 6:42 a.m. And also that's 4 for me, I mean. Is it? Oh, that's a bit rough. Wait, hang on. I'll quickly confirm, because you're in Western Australia, aren't you? You're 5 hours behind us. So I think it might even be a worse time for you, mate. Maybe. Men's hockey, I have accidentally clicked on. Where is it? The men's sevens. So for me, for Scotland versus, I believe Scotland versus, it will actually be at 3 a.m. or closer to 3 a.m. for yourself, Steve. A little bit before 3. So about 2:30 a.m. for the first game, and then 2:48 a.m. for the second. So a little bit early, I guess you'd have to say. And also, you think Scotland deserves to get through after hiding like this only now? I think so. They had a better points differential going into this last game than South Africa. So they are certainly right up there in teams to watch out for in this competition. They did finish on 7 points with a points differential of plus 45, which is better than Canada and Fiji currently sit. Although Canada trying to improve up against Zambia, but they have actually been, tell you what, this is big. Because if Zambia beat Canada, Wales or Zambia will have a chance of making their way through to the next stage. That's even worse, Steve. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But one thing's for sure, if you are up and about, be sure to come hang out for that 20 minutes or so. Even if it's while you're lying in bed and you're watching, like, it will still be great to see you. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. We will see you all for the later stages, which is going to be Fiji versus their opposition, Wales, which is coming up in a very, very short moment. And also, do you know the British South African time when the Blitzboks will play next and who they will be playing? So it's not your everyday culture. So the Blitzboks, they will be taking on Canada more than likely, or the winner or the second team in Pool B, I believe, or Pool C, sorry. So either Canada, Wales, or Zambia, more than likely Canada or Wales. More than likely Canada, though. And then alongside that, that is going to be at 7:26 a.m., I believe, New Zealand time, or maybe the slightly later game, which will work out as South African time. Hang on, I'll quickly see what time it is. South African time. I know that it's a nice evening game for you. So it's 1:49 p.m. at the moment. So you guys are 2 hours ahead of us in terms of like the GMT plus 2. So that will be a 9:26 p.m. kickoff for you guys. Actually a pretty nice time to be able to watch it. If not, it will be the next game after that, and that will be at about 9:48 or so p.m. New Zealand, or sorry, South African time. So somewhere around there will be when you can see it. So be sure to tune in from about 9 p.m. onwards. We will actually have the women's games coming up a little bit beforehand, so that will help you keep track of when those games are on. And also straight after this live stream, after Fiji, we will actually be scheduling our later live streams so you guys can work out exactly when they are taking place. But thank you all very much for tuning in. The score still says it's 17-0 in that game. There we go. It has now updated to 34-0. But thank you all very much for being here. And I will be back very soon after putting my wedges on. And we will be coming back for that game between Fiji and also the Welsh. But thank you all very much. I'll see you all for the next one.